Welcome back to Cody in the Cinema. Today we're talking about a movie I'd never seen before that I'm excited to share with you that recently got a pretty good 4K Steelbook release from Walmart, Major League. The 1989 classic comedy about Rachel Phelps, a former Vegas showgirl who has inherited a terrible Cleveland Indians team and from her late husband's death, and now what she wants to do is intentionally run this program into the ground because if attendance goes low enough, she can move the franchise to another place that she likes better. And so she gathers together a team of deadbeats, nobodies, and has-beens. And among that crew, we first meet Tom Berenger, who plays Jake Taylor, a catcher veteran with bad knees, and he sort of leads the picture as our hero mostly. And his performance, I really enjoyed. It kind of made me want to go back and rewatch Platoon again. I think he helps some of the comedy land because he is so straight-laced in his approach. And the only thing I maybe didn't like about his character was there's a weird sort of stalkerish romance that goes on with a former lover. I don't think that part's aged really well, but I did like everything else about him. Other characters that of note include Charlie Sheen, who plays Wild Thing, Ricky Vaughn, who's literally recruited from prison, and some good gags that go along with that. Wesley Snipes shows up as a walk-on of sorts, not to spoil too much, as Willie Hayes, a very fast runner who can't hit to save his life, and my personal favorite of the cast, Joe Gammon, who plays Lou Brown, a terrific coach. And I love that character so much in this movie. I think this will be probably a once-a-year watch for me every time baseball season comes around. And that character really stuck for me because I love his coaching style. He's very confident to let these players learn lessons on their own, and he only steps in if he really needs to. There's a great fight in the locker room between two characters, and he just sort of briefly addresses it and moves on. He has a delightful sense of humor. It's perfectly timed. His comedic talents display perfect timing, and I really think that he's the most enjoyable character in here. It doesn't all go great for them besides their lack of talent at first. So Rachel, she uses subterfuge along the way to she gives them these terrible bus rides they have to go on, these small rickety little planes that they have to ride on. And despite all of that chaos, they find a way to come together because once they realize that they're being played, they start upping their play, okay? And a lot of this is not some kind of complicated, thematic subject matter. It's really just how do we get a bunch of different personalities to work together and come together for a common goal. And sometimes the differences in the characters are laid on pretty thick. Like there's a guy that literally has a snake because he's into voodoo. But sometimes it's a little bit more subtle and truly brilliant stuff. There's this great scene where one of the characters who's quite religious wants to say the Lord's Prayer before the game. And the way that all goes down and how it becomes just this kind of light tradition that folks are playing around with, it's so believable. And I think that is so grounded in reality for how people often treat those issues. It's just funny, good, humored stuff that I think is respectful of different viewpoints. And to me, for this movie, it works really well when it's actually dealing with baseball stuff. So the moments on the field, the way, this movie, it really does a good job of building up certain strategic elements of the game. So, for example, bunts, stealing bases, anything like that, that is woven into the plot in such a way that later on, if a character does steal a base, it's quite consequential. The mannerisms of the way the players interact on the field, off the field, I mean, it's so spot on to baseball. Even some of the fans that have conversations in the stands, the small, insignificant things they'll kind of bicker with each other over, it's all great stuff. And I love the way the script kind of blends in, like I said, those mannerisms, those normalities of the characters with how and why do these strategies in baseball matter? Why does it matter that this character's fast? Why does it matter that this character maybe can't catch as well? Why does it matter that this character has bad knees? All these things sort of play together and really help the plot along. Now, there are parts of this, obviously, that have aged better than others. What I did like about this movie, as opposed to some older comedies, is there's nothing that seemed mean-spirited to me. This was just a good time at the movies. I don't think that anyone in that production, from what I could tell, was out to be spiteful or nasty toward any one group or another. This is quite simply a group of guys who get together, have fun playing baseball. It's what you want baseball to be. It's what I want baseball to be. And the end of this movie, when this working class Cleveland sort of thrown together team has to take on none other than the New York Yankees, just this like symbol of this posh, rich, beyond recognition squad. And I'm sorry, Yankee fans, but I think that's what the movie wants it to represent. I mean, it just works so well for this. And it's not, like I said, it's not a particularly complicated movie. It doesn't need to be. I'm surprised. I'd never seen this before, but I really enjoyed it. And I love the production of this Steelbook of the 4K here. I almost forgot to mention this guy that was the announcer. What's his name? He was really funny in this. So I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would, and this will be, like I said, an annual watch for me. So it's only Major League I've seen. Should I watch the other ones? Are there any other baseball movies you like just as much or better? This is actually currently my favorite baseball-related movie. Let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time on Cody in the Cinema.